Hi, everyone. I'm Thérèse, and this is New York Girl Again, The After, the podcast for caregivers who have survived the hardest chapter of their lives and are now gathering both the strength and the courage to write the next one. Welcome back to December's Healing Series. This month, we've been doing some work together. We started with the gentle return, that first step back into yourself. Then we talked about being strong enough to begin again, rebuilding strength when everything felt depleted. Last week, we crossed an important threshold when survival is no longer enough, when healing asks us to step beyond the comfort zone and expand again. But here's the honest truth, at least it is for me. December doesn't make expansion easy. It feels like sometimes December has its hands on our shoulders and is pulling us back. Yeah, December, it pulls. It pulls on memory. It pulls on identity. It pulls on old roles, old expectations, old versions of ourselves. So how do you fight that pull? How do you hold yourself through the holidays without losing the progress you've made? How do you stay anchored when December tries to pull you back into who you used to be? Well, let's start by naming why the holidays feel so destabilizing in the after. December isn't just a season. It's an emotional amplifier. Everything feels louder. Memories sharpen. Absences feel heavier. Expectations multiply. And grief shows up uninvited. For caregivers in the after, the holidays often stir guilt for not wanting to participate the same way. Pressure to be okay now. Exhaustion from social expectations. Sadness over traditions that no longer fit. The ache of roles you no longer occupy. The fear of being too much or not enough. And here's something really important to understand. Your nervous system remembers December. It remembers the interrupted celebrations. It remembers the hospital stays, the crises. It remembers holding it together for everyone else. So when December arrives now, your body reacts, even if your mind understands that things are different. It's emotional memory, which brings us to a critical shift in healing. You are no longer required to override yourself to get through December. Holding yourself is a skill, and it's one most caregivers were never taught. Because for so long, holding everyone else was the priority. Holding yourself does not mean isolating, avoiding all connection, numbing out, or pretending you're fine. Holding yourself means staying internally connected while navigating the outside world. It could look like checking in with yourself before you commit. Noticing when your body tightens or allowing sadness without fixing it. Letting traditions change. Choosing presence over performance. Giving yourself permission to leave early without explanation. Honoring your limits without apologizing. And one of the hardest parts of holding yourself is learning how to say no without collapsing into guilt. So let's talk about boundaries. because December tests them relentlessly. Boundaries aren't punishments or rejections, and they certainly aren't selfish. Boundaries are how you protect your healing. During the holidays, boundaries might sound like, I'll come for a bit, but not the whole evening. This year looks different for me. I'm keeping things quiet this time. I'm not up for that conversation. I'm not explaining myself today. And here's the thing most caregivers struggle with, because I know I did. Other people may be disappointed, but that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Discomfort in others does not invalidate your needs. You are allowed to disappoint people without betraying yourself. But what often keeps us stuck is the need to be understood. Another exhausting part of the holidays is trying to make other people get it, trying to explain your grief, your exhaustion, your changed priorities, your boundaries, your new outlook for yourself. And here's a hard but freeing truth. You don't need to be understood to be valid. You don't need permission to do December differently. Healing deepens when you stop explaining and start trusting your own knowing. You can be kind without being available. You can be loving without depleting yourself. So how do you actually move through December day by day without losing yourself? Here's a simple but really powerful practice I want you to use this season. Before any invitation, before any obligation or expectation, pause and ask yourself, will this nourish me? Will it drain me? Will it leave me feeling numb? Will it leave me feeling taken advantage of or feeling disrespected? Will it leave me feeling unappreciated? I want you to listen to your own heart, your own response to those questions, and then choose accordingly. If something nourishes you, consider it. If it drains you, set those limits. If it leaves you feeling disrespected or unappreciated, absolutely say no. Your job this December is not to make everyone else happy. It's to stay connected to yourself. And before we close, there's something else I need you to hear very clearly. If December feels heavy, you are not alone, and you are not broken. If you need more space, you're not being selfish. If you're doing less this month, you are not failing. You are responding to your life as it is now. And that is wisdom. That is grace, because healing is not linear. It doesn't disappear because you feel tender. It shows up in how you care for yourself now. This December, healing doesn't mean pushing through. It means holding yourself with the same care you once gave so freely to others. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to choose differently. You are allowed to let this season look quieter and softer. Next week, we'll close our December's healing series by talking about what it means to step into the new year without abandoning yourself again. Until then, honor your heart and hold yourself well. And I'll see you next week.